So yes, it is true. I actually did get verified. Now, I applied for verification back on February 24th of this year. And about 5 months later, we get a message. So this morning, I saw that I had a message from YouTube in my email. So I opened it up and it says, "Hello. Thank you for your patience while we looked into your request. We've successfully verified your YouTube channel. Your channel will remain verified unless you change your name. If you change your channel's name, the renamed channel won't be verified and you'll need to reapply. In the next few days, you'll see a check mark next to your channel name. Currently, the verified badge doesn't show everywhere, like on mobile devices, but we're working to fix that." So what does this actually mean for me? Well, it basically means that I'm now of higher priority, which I don't actually know what that means either, so I guess we're gonna find out as we go on, but hey, I get this really cool badge. So on the topic of discussion for today's video, guys, I'm going to be talking pretty much about all the flaws, and I'm going to be critiquing a lot of things in Pixel Gun 3D, basically discussing everything that is currently wrong with it in this current version of the game. Now, to categorize all of this, I will be breaking it down into 3 segments: the beginning experience, the midway experience, and the endgame experience. In each, I will be talking about different things that are causing issues for certain levels of players, and this video did take a long time to make, so if you guys do enjoy it, I'd very much appreciate if you could leave a like on it, and also subscribe. And feel free to leave your feedback down in the comments. It is more than welcome. And yeah, guys, let's go ahead and hop straight into it.
Don't you lose sight of what you want? Care about the simple things in life that bring you joy.
So before we start ranting, guys, I'd like to talk a little bit about today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Lightyear Computers, where you can find custom PCs or any computer parts that you need at a fair price. Be sure to check out their website, the link is down in the description. Be sure to stick around until after their ad to figure out everything that is currently wrong with the game. So like I said, guys, I'm going to be breaking down this entire thing into 3 categories, being the beginning experience, the middle of the game, and the end of the game, being like levels 1 to 15, and then 15 to 37, then like 45 to 65, like sort of that kind of range. So let's say you just downloaded Pixel Gun 3D for the first time. You open up the game, you take the tutorial, and then it sends you on your way into a match full of players that you would expect to be around your skill level. However, this isn't always the case. Sometimes you'll actually be paired with someone who is level 65, and in that case, they're either going to be a 3-cat spammer who is going to be way out of your league, or a heavy spammer, and in both cases, it's really not going to be that fun for that new player. And that is seriously a major issue for beginning players. As you get later into the game, it's not as big of a problem because usually people are able to handle it as they gain new skill, but for the most part, towards the beginning of the game, this is a major issue. Now, along with the fact that there is some serious heavy spammers and high-level players in your games because matchmaking is just not that great, you'll also end up being paired with someone who is considered to be pay to win, a player who has usually spent their actual real money in real life so that they can buy a weapon that is very, very powerful for the level they are on. They will use said weapon against you even if they're a low-level player. So if they're level 6 and they buy a weapon that's usually going to be unlocked later on in the game, but it is very powerful and it is available for a price at the moment, they will actually buy it and then use it against you. Of course, it is very, very powerful. It is very much a pay-to-win schematic, which, by the way, pay-to-win by definition is spending real money on an in-game purchase to better your playstyle. And that's nothing new. The whole pay-to-win scheme has been a thing that's been happening for years, originally starting in a lot of RPG-style games and then transferring its way over to mobile games when buying cosmetics or in-game currency became such a big and mainstream thing. It's not something that is just specific to Pixel Gun 3D. All games do it. Any game you go into will either be pay-to-win or, I guess, just pay to have skins, which in that case isn't exactly pay-to-win. It is mostly based on cosmetics with games like Fortnite. However, in games like this. Basically, you can purchase stuff in this game without actually having to grind for it. You can buy your way all the way up to the top, and unfortunately, that is a major problem in this game. Some people just have access and the ability to do that, while others don't, and the people who don't usually get paired with the people who do, and that's a major issue for new players. Another really noticeable problem with these low-level players is that they won't really have access to any sort of clan activities. Sure, you can join a clan technically at level 6, but to be honest, any clan that they will join at that time will be either completely inactive or just full of people who won't do any of the clan tasks and just play sandbox or something like that. And if they are able by any chance to get into a clan that is actually active, they'll usually get kicked very, very quickly. I know this for a fact because this used to happen to me constantly, and I get reports from it all the time. Like, new players always talk to me about how they don't have access to any of the clan stuff, any of the clan weapons, any of the activities, and they need to because they need to be in a clan, but they can't create a clan because it costs too many coins and they can't afford it at the time, or they just can't find a clan that works for them because they'll just get kicked out or no one in the clan is active. Now, this creates a big problem because a lot of new players at that point will get bored of playing regular game modes and want to participate in clan activities but are unable to, and yes, this is literally something that happens. I get DM'd about it all the time. Beginning players won't have access to stuff that some of the longer time players have access to, like, again, clan war, because, you know, clans that don't qualify for clan war won't be able to get any of the weapons at all, which is tough because they'll probably get paired with people who do have them anyway. Not only do they not really have access to the clan war, but they also don't really have access to any of the weapons, which is a major problem because they're being restricted on a lot of things that are going to be available to other players, and it's going to be a lot harder for those players to level up and to get into better clans anyway because matches are full of pay-to-win players and heavy spammers. But I think there would be a really easy fix for this though. To be honest, just create another league for new players. Like, if a player is too low of a level, you can create a whole separate form of clans just for them that they can find, full of people who are also active. I don't know exactly how they would do it, but if they just made a league for active players that are low level, it would be so much better because they can have access to the things that they currently don't, and that would just open up a whole new range of content for them, which would make them play the game more, and overall they would have a better playing experience with the game. I don't know why they haven't done this yet, but I feel like it would be such an easy thing to do. So let's talk a little bit about the midway experience of the game. The midway experience of the game is where the matchmaking will actually be the worst throughout the entire portion of your playthrough. The midway experience for matchmaking is very, very bad because at that point you will be paired with more higher level players than pretty much ever in the game. When you're on level 65, of course, you will actually start to get paired with lower level players as well as a few higher level players, but for some reason, especially when I was like level 30, and now of course, everyone complains about being paired with someone who's way higher level and just has way better weapons than them, which obviously is a major issue because, you know, if you're going to get paired with someone who's a way higher level than you, they have way more experience, and you're not going to be able to win, you're not going to be able to level up as easy, it's going to be a lot more difficult. So this creates the major problem of the diversity in levels in games, and they tried to fix that with this whole matchmaking thing, but it doesn't really seem to be working because every game is either filled with bots or players that are not anywhere near your skill level in any way at all. When you're a higher level player, like level 65 or so, usually you get paired with people who are either level 65 or level 30 and below. There's not really a gap between those areas for some reason, but you'll get paired with a wide variety of people, and it's obviously going to be really easy for that level 65 player, especially if they're a 3-cat spammer. They're going to be able to win games so much more easily than that person who's level 30. It's going to be very difficult for them. It's basically just going to be like target practice. And so at that point, if a level 30 player or someone around that level is just getting farmed by higher level players every single game, it's going to become really repetitive and not fun for them anymore, and it will cause them to quit the game. And this actually happens. People literally will leave the game out of boredom or out of repetitiveness just because they're getting killed by higher level players that have way more skill than them. The matchmaking is not that great for this area. It's the worst out of any of the levels. When you're a higher level, you should be able to handle, you know, other higher level players because, you know, you're going to have more experience with the game. You'll know how to handle it better. But with the midway experience, it is very, very bad. This is the target range where players tend to leave the game the most. Whenever someone tells me that they leave the game, I usually ask them what level they were, and they usually tell me between level 30 and level 45. That shows a lot. If a lot of these players who are midway into the game are experiencing this bad of matchmaking, it should probably be fixed, and there's kind of a really easy way to do it. You don't really necessarily have to put every match by level, but you could put, say, every single match by, I don't know, KD ratio, and maybe add a little bit of the interest of level into there. I don't know, right now they just seem to be pairing anyone who's queuing up at the same time into a match, because at least that's what it seems to look like. I usually get 2 real players in my game, which are nowhere near my skill level at all, or AI bots, and it's a serious issue. I don't think it would be that hard to fix, but it's causing a lot of these midway players to just not play anymore, and that's what's causing the game to die the most. So another thing I wanted to talk about with the mid-level players is the fact that they won't really have that great of clan gadgets, but everyone they go up against will, especially in the game mode like duels, which for some reason isn't always available yet. But clan gadgets are something that is very, very odd in this game, because clan gadgets are way, way better than any other gadgets in this game. You know, the regular gadgets that you have access to are nowhere near as good as the clan gadgets. For example, the rocket mech, the denied, the bees, and many more that people tend to use in games are just extremely overpowered, yet these mid-level players will not have access to them because their clan is not active enough, or they just don't get enough points or valor, whatever you want to call it, to be able to get to the gold league to unlock some of these gadgets, but yet they still get paired with people who do. And again, this sort of ties with both the clan thing and the matchmaking thing that I was talking about before, but the clan gadgets is specifically the thing I'm trying to talk about here. These clan gadgets are not available to these midway level players, and it's going to be serious because every single game is just going to be full of people who spam them, and even I get paired with someone that is spamming the gadgets that I don't have access to, and I'm a level 65, so if I'm having an issue with it, I can't even imagine how bad it is for lower level players. So now I'd like to get into some of the struggles that specifically higher level players will usually face, and one of the main ones is clan war. With clan war, there's a lot of things that are good, but there's a lot of things that are bad. I'm going to focus on the bad today because I am trying to improve some of those things. The things that are already good, we don't need to talk about because they're already good. Don't need to bring them up, don't need to mention them, but for now, we're going to focus on the bad. So with clan war, there's a lot of really interesting things, and the main one being the variety of tasks that you have to perform. Right now, there's a lot of tasks in clan war that are usually set in game modes that aren't even available to you at the time. Well, that's because of the whole mode rotation, and that's kind of a major issue because some of these tasks you're not even going to be able to complete, which kind of sucks. Now, one thing that they could do to fix this is they can make it so that with each rotation, there also can be a rotation of the tasks that you have to do. So like if you have only the deathmatch mode available in the competitive side, you can have your tasks switch over to things that are deathmatch specific, and I feel like that's probably not that hard to do, to be honest. You could just make it so that the tasks just automatically rotate along with the modes. But other than that, guys, I really wanted to focus on the tasks themselves. Some of you guys probably know I'm not really that competitive in the game anymore. I don't really take too much part into my my clan activities. I just don't find any interest in that at all at this point. It's just really repetitive and not that fun to me at all, but so I don't really participate in it that much. But a lot of my clanmates do like taking part in clan war, and they usually report to me on how difficult some of the tasks are. And so I ask some of them why they're so difficult, and they tell me because usually the matches are filled with people who are trying to ruin the game, like heavy spammers or just people who are abusing extremely OP weapons in order to win the game and ruining the ability to complete the tasks for other players. And obviously this is true. I used to be very competitive, and I used to take part in a lot of clan activities when this whole clan update first came out. I was really into it at first, but then I realized how much of a problem this was. I don't know why they choose to push through it, to be honest. It seems like it's just so boring for me. I mean, within like a week after the clan update thing came out, I was just kind of bored of it already. It just felt very repetitive and not that skill-based or fun in any way. It just felt extremely competitive. Like, everyone knows how at first when the game came out, like Fortnite was actually kind of fun when it first came out, but then it became super competitive and just really repetitive and annoying, and it's just that's just kind of how this is headed as well, to be honest. A lot of the clan war tasks are really difficult, and whenever you try and actually complete them, you just get into games full of heavy spammers, and unfortunately with higher level players, that is still a problem. It's kind of a problem again with mid-level players, but for end-level players it is even more of an issue because you will be paired against clans that are even higher than yours is. For example, actually no, I'm not going to name any clans because I'm not trying to get a massive dislike bomb in this video just because some fanboy hates me for calling out their clan or something, but clan tasks seem to be a really big issue because there's a lot of players that tend to ruin it either on purpose or just because they're trying to complete their own tasks, whatever it may be. Just a lot of games tend to be ruined. Now, another main problem with the in-game experience of this game is the inability to actually better yourself as a player. I find it extremely difficult, and a lot of people tell me that they also find it extremely difficult to get better as a player, especially for 3-cat spammers. So I guess this one is more 3-cat specific, but a lot of people tell me that they have a very hard time bettering their aim, bettering their movement, because the matchmaking is so terrible. And again, I keep bringing up the matchmaking, but that's more or less because it does apply to every single level of the game. So a lot of 3-cat spammers specifically will tell me that they either get paired with people who are not on their skill level, so they're never able to adapt to fighting people who are harder to beat than them. So So it just becomes an issue of fighting players that aren't good, and therefore you'll just get used to fighting players that are bad, and you'll actually lose some of your skill rather than gain more new skills. And obviously that's bad because it disencourages a lot of grinding to get better as a player in the game, which means people will play less, which means the game will slowly die over time, and it is actually happening. Now, players who will be able to beat these 3-cat spammers usually are people who are going to be heavy spamming because, you know, heavy weapon spam is really OP and is more or less the meta for people who know how to do it. And unfortunately, whenever you're going up someone that you just can't beat at all and there's nothing you can really do to avoid it because they're using area damage, or if you're going up against players who are just so bad that you're not even able to put any effort into it, you're just not able to get better as a player, and it really disencourages grinding, and it's not that great at all. So the last thing that I really wanted to talk about with the end level experience of this game is the fact that you don't really have anything left to spend your coins on. Now, when you're a low level player and sort of a mid level player too, you're obviously spending your coins on getting new weapons, and that's not really something you do anymore once you're a high level. You usually find a set of weapons that you like a lot, and then the rest is just bonus. You can buy them to get coupons if you want to, but what happens if you just run out of guns to buy? Like a lot of players do. A lot of people end up just not having any more weapons to buy, and there's nothing else that you can really spend your coins on. You can spend them to upgrade, but again, all your weapons are probably going to be max level already. The only other thing I can really think of is you can use your coins to get gems from the black market, but even that, you don't really have that great of offers from the black market, so it's not usually going to be worth it anyway. So what does that leave you with? Well, before we used to have traders vans that came out having a bunch of weapons that you could buy for coins, but now it seems like recently they've only been coming out with weapons that are for gems, so what are we going to do about that? I don't really know, but right now it just seems like I don't have any purpose for my coins at all. I mean, like right now I only have 2,400 gems and I have 10,000 coins. I literally have no idea what to spend my coins on at all. There's just nothing I can spend them on. I've bought every weapon at this point already for the past year and a half of me grinding on this account. I finally bought every single weapon in the armory. There's a whole bunch of weapons in the craft that I don't have, but I am finally just stacked on guns, and now I have nothing left to spend my coins on, so I don't really know what to do at this point. I'm just hoping that more weapons come out in the trader's van because there's just no point for my coins right now. So I've got a few things here that I wanted to talk about that aren't really related specifically to level, but more of just overall issues that could be combated a little bit more that haven't really been talked about at all. So the first one I really wanted to talk about just for a little like minute here. So I really wanted to talk about like the whole cringy foreplay thing that's happening in Pixel Gun 3D right now. And of course this has been happening for years, like, you know, games like Sandbox and just private games where like people do like some high school DxD or whatever it's called, where like they'll go into a private game or a sandbox match and they'll just do some weird role play stuff, and sometimes it gets a little bit creepy, and I'm sure you guys have probably seen my video on the catching a predator thing in Pixel Gun 3D. This whole role play thing definitely brings in a lot of weird things to this game that's not really supposed to be in it, because this is a shooter game. This is not a role play game, and it's kind of dangerous too, because there are a lot of kids who do play this game, and there are people out there who will ask for your information online, and it's so easy for them to do so. All they have to do is go into a sandbox game and just ask, and I'm sure there's people out there who are young enough that will actually do it, and so something has to be done about this. It's a problem. Not only is it cringy, but it's also dangerous, so I think that should be combated a little bit more than it is. So another thing that I wanted to talk about that I sort of mentioned in the past in my video where I talked about the pros and cons of the update in Pixel Gun 3D is the extensive amount of AI bots that are in games. Specifically in competitive, there seems to be a lot of bots in duels and deathmatch. There are a couple of other games there as well, but duels and deathmatch seem to have a lot of bots in them. In my deathmatch games, 8 out of the 10 players will be bots, and then there's me and one other real person at most. Sometimes I've gotten games that are completely full of bots. So I talked a little bit about this with Mel a little bit, and they said that when the iOS update came out, it would change the amount of bots by a lot, and it actually seems like it's gotten worse. Now I can barely find a single game with more than 2 real players in it, which is kind of an issue, especially since they're labeling this game mode as competitive. I don't know about you guys, but my idea of quote-unquote competitive matches aren't fighting robots and heavy spammers. That's just a bad playing experience. So another thing that I talked about in my pros versus cons video was the mode and map rotation, which is something that a lot of players really don't like. It restricts people from playing their favorite maps, their favorite modes, and forcing them to play stuff that they don't really enjoy, which doesn't really make sense because they'll be playing the game less. So it's like, why would you do that? So no one really understands exactly exactly why they did this. I'm sure they have a motive or a reason for it or something, but right now we don't really have a reason for it. I don't understand. I don't know why they would make it so that we can't play any game mode we want, because before there wasn't an issue with not having games with people in them. We always had at least 6 people in a game, which was enough for anyone to play it, but now we just can't play whatever game mode we want, and we can't play whatever mode we want either, so I don't know, that's kind of an issue, I guess. So the next thing I'll be talking about is the glitches and how long they take to get fixed, because everyone knows whenever there's a glitch or like a major problem in Pixel Gun 3D, it kind of takes a while to get fixed. Some of the small ones take even longer, but I'll admit some of the ones that are very like mostly talked about more than other ones usually get fixed kind of quickly. Like if you guys know the armor glitch where like you basically became invincible, that got fixed within like 3 days or something, so that's an example of a time where it went well. But there's also been glitches that have lasted in the game for a very long time, and specifically a glitch that lasted for over a year and a half is called the like lobby glitch. Now the like lobby glitch was a glitch that sort of caused your game to freeze whenever someone would spam the like button on your lobby, and whenever streamers would be streaming is when people would be spamming like on their lobbies, so it basically killed all streams for Pixel Gun 3D. There is no streams on Twitch for Pixel Gun 3D at all, and at most there's about 2 streams a day at most, and that is really, really bad. That means that there is hardly any streamed content of Pixel Gun 3D up on YouTube, and that is going to kill the game. If there's no streams for it, it's going to become less popular. Sure, there are videos on the game, and you know, they're promoting a whole bunch of Pixel Gun 3D YouTubers to make it seem like there's a bunch more content on YouTube with the game, but it's just not the case at all. This glitch caused all streamable Pixel Gun 3D content to be basically killed, and specifically this happened the worst with streamers like me and a few others that I know. With me, I used to stream Pixel Gun 3D like 2 times a day. I loved streaming it, but then this glitch started to take effect and it was not fixed. It got so bad that I ended up stopped streaming Pixel Gun 3D because of this, and they only fixed it 6 months after I stopped streaming it. If that doesn't say something about how long some glitches take to get fixed, then I don't know what will, because that's a serious issue. And how about the glitch where people fall through the map all the time? They just like spawn in and instantly fall through the map. That's been a glitch for like 2 years. How has that not been fixed yet? So this next thing I'm going to be talking about is a little hard to discuss because it is more or less a concept, but I'm going to call it the concept of purposeful premature weapon release. Now, the name kind of speaks for itself. It basically means that they'll release a weapon a lot earlier than they should, probably even though they know it's going to be really overpowered, but they do it on purpose. See, my theory is that they release it overpowered on purpose because they know that if people find out that it's really overpowered, they're all going to rush to try and get the weapon, because if they can have a really good weapon, it'll make their games a lot easier. So they know that if it's really overpowered, a lot of people are going to try and get it, whether it's with actual grinding or in most cases spending their actual money. And this is most often the case. People will spend their actual money in order to get these really overpowered weapons every time they're released. And you know what's even better? These weapons are usually nerfed within a week, and after that, no one uses them anymore. Again, this is just a concept, but it's a really good business tactic, and it makes sense to the pattern, because every time a weapon is released, it's usually really overpowered, probably on purpose, so that a lot of people will get it using their actual money, and it's seriously a thing, man. It's a good business tactic, so it's probably true, to be honest. So the next thing I'm going to be talking about is the changes that Pixel Gun 3D adds to the game that anger a lot of people, and they're usually changes that no one asked for. A lot of the times, the things that Pixel Gun 3D will just randomly add to the game will be completely random and unasked for. There have been times where they asked us what we wanted to see as an update, and they do follow through with that, but more often than not, they do add a bunch of things or remove a bunch of things that no one asked to be changed or removed or added. No one knows why this really happens, but it does happen constantly. It angers a lot of people, and I see so many people quit every day because something was changed about the game that no one asked for and no one really likes. It's happened with a lot of things, and more recently it's happened with the economy. Trophies are just gone now. No one asked for that. No one asked for a new form of currency in the game now, like lotteries, keys, and stuff like that. Just totally different. Everything's completely different now, and no one asked for it, really. The one good thing, again, is the trophy road, but even that is just going to cause inflation with weapons. All of these changes have prices, and it's more often than not that price is losing a lot of players because no one asked for that update. Anyway, guys, this video is pushing close to 25 minutes at this point. I've edited it down already from 37 minutes of just me ranting, so I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. I've spent about a week researching a lot of things, talking to a lot of low-level players, mid-level players, and a bunch of other high-level players like myself. So I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. A lot of effort did go into it. I did a lot of research for it, so hopefully you guys are informed on a lot of things that are wrong with this game, and hopefully some of these things get changed. Maybe the developers will see this video and make some changes that are really needed. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. There's a bunch more things I want to say, so if you guys want to see another part to this video, if we can get 1,000 likes on it, I will do another part to it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Have a great day.